Complete game, more of a complete game after our game against Utah State. So I think the last two outings we're gaining momentum. I think we're playing better and better each week. And after our third win in a row with more and more positive things, I think, to see not only through our offense but our return game and our defense. I think we're just gaining momentum. Really good to have Spencer Hadley back with us today. Great to see Lonnie Fua. I thought that was a huge play to have a little breathing room. The game was kind of a defensive struggle in the second half for a long time, and Lonnie's interception was huge. And I thought Taysom played really, really well. Great decisions, accurate throwing. Did a nice job with his legs. And Justin Sorensen, after the celebration penalty to kick the ball over their heads was a remarkable thing. That was a great play also. So I'm encouraged. I like our team.
Coach, can you talk about the fourth quarter defense? You had one series where Kyle Van Noy gets the 10-yard sack. Next series, Alana gets the interception. Next series, Spencer Hadley gets the fumble. How big was the defense for
Our outside linebackers are really, really talented. And when Georgia Tech got behind in the chains and behind in the count, in terms of down and distance, it became easier to send pressure. And when you have those guys to be able to go after the quarterback, it makes a huge difference.
Do you remember a time, Coach, wherever in your coaching career, where your defense scored points in 3 straight games?
I don't and didn't. And in fact, it's nice that you brought that up. I'm coaching some really talented players, and man, they work really hard, and so it's just fun, really fun. And man, I have to say that the amount of and how hard this team is working is really showing in how they play. And Georgia Tech is a difficult opponent to not only scheme but to win and to beat. And I'm proud of our team, and I like our chances.
Bronco, were you aware on the sideline of where Cody Hoffman was with his catch numbers and where he finished the night?
No, I don't. I'm not even aware now. What were his catch numbers?
Tied the record. He's one shy of breaking it. Awesome.
Well, he's a really, really good player, and it's good to have him back as well now with some practices and some consistency under his belt. And ideally, when you have Mitch playing the way that he can play and Cody playing the way he can play, and then you had J.D. Fosslett in there, and then you start adding Brett Thompson and Ross, then eventually we could be pretty dynamic. And I think you saw, at least, especially the first half, I think that's what you saw. Because then you had Jamal and Taysom, it starts to look pretty good.
Coach, can you talk more about Spencer Hadley and what he means to the defense to have him out there, and
he's
just how he played today?
He's tough, he's a good leader, he's athletic, and he cares a lot. And he plays with his heart. And so it was just, it was great to have a phone call on Wednesday from our athletic director and from the university saying that he's met all of his obligations and they lifted their suspension early. And it's a celebration, and it's been a tribute to him. My criteria that I had for him was different than the universities, and he had met those as well, so he practiced on Wednesday.
He was using a different capacity. You didn't use him at Buck, you used him at outside linebacker. What were the reasons for that?
We were in the middle of option preparation. We already had 2 practices under our belt. We didn't want to switch people because it's hard to learn even one spot against the option, let alone 2. And so we thought that would be the best spot for him.
Overall, what's your critique of the way your defense played? They scored 400 yards, got some late in garbage time, but just overall, are you as pleased as you were a year ago?
Oh, I think we played well, and I gauge it a lot by points. And I thought we, with the exception of the last touchdown, 38-13, would look pretty good. And I thought we had a really nice plan, and they're a good team. So I thought they were better. It took me a little bit as the play caller to really get a sense for what they were capable of on third down, and that we obviously dialed in a lot better the second half on that. So it took a little bit of time. That was on me, not our players, to kind of get an idea of what they were going to do third down-wise.
Bronco, could you elaborate on that sack that Kyle got that knocked them 10 yards back? They missed the field goal. And what did you guys see on that particular play?
It was just happened to number one guess right on the call, and he executed it right on. And they ran play action into 5-man pressure, and when you have single blocking, so play action takes a little bit longer, and so it's harder for the linemen or running backs in terms of their angles to pick up an edge blitzer, and that's what we had. So we had pressure versus play action, which is hard for an offense. And Kyle was on him, I think, before he knew what happened to him.
Is that a play that would have been open for a lot of linebackers, or what's the advantage that Kyle with that
He's
kind
just
of?
faster. I mean, he's just a better player. I mean, you know, the other guys might have been a step off, or the ball might have gotten off. I mean, the quarterback didn't even have a chance to really set up, and so he's just really good.
Blake Morgan had to play almost the entire game at free safety. Can you comment about his
He was
play?
just holding on for dear life. The option is difficult, and so he was behind some wheel routes and a step or two slow off the alley and just fighting as hard as he could to stay in there. Craig Bills got concussioned early in, first or second series, I think. And so Blake battled as hard as he could, and he played well enough for us to have a convincing win.
Manamaleuna was used sparingly after being helped off the field. What's his status?
Don't know.
As far as the difference between the first half and the second half, the entire game seemed very different from that second quarter to that third quarter. Was that just halftime adjustments on both sides?
I think so. And I thought we did a nice job adjusting and stopping completely what they were doing offensively. And conversely, they did a nice job also. A lot more pressure, a lot more man coverage, a lot more aggressive is what they chose to do.